To my video on AFL ratings and tips. Looking at our last round, round 10, which is where we always start. How were the results? We look at outright tips. We did get 5 of the 9 games, which is not great, but there were some pretty big upsets. GWS lost, which we had at a 68% chance of winning. The odds available were $1.43 and they lost. So they were pretty heavy favourites and they lost. We had Brisbane and we had St Kilda as well. Again, $1.21 and $1.43, both above 70%, one above 80%. And they both went down at the towards the end of the round. Now that really killed anyone in the gauntlet. I did have St Kilda in the gauntlet for the tipping on the AFL site. I had switched late from North Melbourne, so shouldn't be many people left in there. I did originally have North Melbourne thinking it was a strategic tip, but I ended up switching it around and going more what I thought was a safer play with St Kilda. Didn't end up being that way. If we look at how we went on the line, we pretty much got 5 of the games again. With 4 of them missing, again missing the 2 of the really big games there with Brisbane and St Kilda, also missing Hawthorn and Collingwood. We have a look at what the bets were that there were value. It essentially lost because of those last 2 games. If we look at what we lost on the round, it was essentially 1.27 units. And if we had taken only those that are above an 18-point predicted margin, so 3 goals, we had 3 bets, and again, we only won 1 of those 3 bets. Again, if you'd taken it where both we had value and it was an 18-point predicted margin, we had 3 bets and we lost. So the running total for taking value bets is now 5 units, 5.5 units. Taking those where it's an 18-point predicted margin is still up over 2 units. Taking both is down 0.25 of a unit. So let's have a quick look at what we have for round 11. Now, just to give an update on what our record is today, it's 49.5 because there was a draw of 68 bets, and we have 36 from 68 on the line, which is just above that 50% range. So we have a slight edge there on the line. Now that's taking all of them on the line. There's probably a much better way to do that than looking at it. I will probably do a breakdown of how many points difference were we from the line, and therefore is there value when we are like 5 points different, 6 points, more than a goal. We'll see how that turns out. But let's jump into today's ratings for this round, which is round 11. So in Geelong versus Western Bulldogs, I've got Geelong. It's a close game, 56% chance of winning for Geelong. It's less than a goal, which means an error here or there can change the result. You can get up to $1.95. The line is 2.5, so we'll take Western Bulldogs on the line. Essendon versus Richmond, I've got Essendon again at 68%. Predicted margin is 18. The odds are $1.38. We've got Richmond on the line because the line is an extra half a point. Carlton versus GWS, I have Carlton at 58%. It's at an 8-point predicted margin. We got Carlton with 2.5 on the line. Hawthorn versus Brisbane, we've got Hawthorn at 64%. Again, we're taking Hawthorn on the line at -9.5 because we expect them to cover with 12. North Melbourne versus Collingwood, we've got Collingwood at 84% chance of winning, a 35 predicted margin. Their odds are $1.18. We're going to take Collingwood to cover the 34.5 line. Fremantle versus Port Adelaide, we're going to take Fremantle at 70%. The line is at 18.5. We got the predicted at 16, so we'll take Port Adelaide to cover that. Adelaide versus West Coast, we've got Adelaide at 91% with a 46-point margin. Find it hard for them to lose this, but we've got to take West Coast with a 50.5 head start. Melbourne versus Sydney. Sydney is at 55% chance, at less than a goal. Again, odds are pretty close to that. Lions 2.5, so we'll take Sydney to cover the 2.5. And St Kilda versus Gold Coast, we've got Gold Coast at 58% with a predicted margin of 7. The line is 12.5, so we'll take St Kilda to cover that. Now, if we look at what was value in the odds that we can get versus what the predicted odds should be, we will be taking, just make sure I can see this, we'll be taking Geelong, Carlton, Hawthorn, and Sydney for value bets. If we look at those which have an 18-point start, there's only 3, those being Adelaide, Collingwood, and Essendon. And that is it. There is nothing that meets the criteria for the last one, which is basically it meets these 2. So that's it for round 11. I'm still at the top of the tipping comp, which is great. Just holding on each round, just up by that 1 point, but we will see how that goes and continues into round 11. Hopefully we can get a full 9 out of 9 games, but let's see how it turns out. Thanks for watching the video. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe, hit like. Feel free to ask anything in the comments. Happy to work through and answer any questions that people have. Let me know what you disagree with and what you are tipping. Thanks for watching.